Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So today we are back to playing a little bit of Merfolk, but a slightly different build to what we've played on the ladder before. So we've got this version's running the full 4 copies of Deeproot Pilgrimage, which is a 2-mana enchantment that says whenever one or more non-token Merfolk you control become tapped, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. And then we combine that with cards like Kumena, which has 3 different activated abilities that involve tapping different numbers of merfolk to kind of generate value, and you kind of modulate how many you tap and kind of get this card going, and just creating a lot of 1/1 merfolks, and go wide with that, and then maybe pump them up with one or multiple of our various lords, and yeah, just kind of win the game that way. So that is an interesting interaction that we're going to try in this new deck. But we've also got some other sort of classic Merfolk things, including 4 copies of Tishana's Tidebinder. Now, I was very high on this card when it was spoiled. It was very high on my top 10 list of cards for this set, and I'm very pleased that it has proved to be as good as it is. I mean, it's kind of making waves in multiple formats, particularly in Modern, where it's kind of blanking all kinds of things. But, that ability to just turn off particularly problematic cards that the opponent's playing, whether that's Shieldred, Adeline, whatever it may be, just very, very good. So we're running 4 copies of that. We're also running a Sentinel of the Nameless City. That's another new card that we've seen before, 3/4 Vigilance for 3. And when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a map token. And also a Sea Note Scout 1/1 that explores for 1 mana, so plenty of value off that. So it's either a 1/1 that draws you a card or a 2/2. And then our other 1-drops are 4 copies of Comena's Speaker, so that itself is often a 2/2 as well. And 1 Benthic Biomancer, 1/1 Merfolk with Adapt for 1 and a blue. And whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters put on it, draw a card and discard a card, so a good way of filtering our cards and sculpting our hand a bit there. Then our 2-drops, obviously we have our full 8 lords, so we have 4 copies of Merfolk Mistbinder and 4 copies of Voldalian Hexcatcher, more recent addition to the format, but very, very powerful card. 1/1 Flash, other Merfolk you control get +1/+1, and you can sacrifice a Merfolk to counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1, which may seem a bit kind of underwhelming at first, but kind of actually in a strategy where you're going wide with Merfolk, you should hopefully always have fodder to sacrifice, kind of tripping the opponent up and stopping them playing their big payoff cards for another turn or two is actually incredibly powerful and kind of just helps keep the tempo of the deck going. Speaking of tempo, so we've got 2 Silvergill Adepts, so a 2-drop Merfolk that draws us a card, and 2 Merfolk Trickster, which taps at a creature an opponent controls and makes it lose all abilities until end of turn. So these are both good tempo cards, just keeping the train rolling. And then as well at 3-drop, as well as our Tishana's Tidebinder, we have our Kumena's our Sentinel, and then 1 Glasspool Mimic. So that's particularly good at copying probably one of our lords most of the time, but it can also be a land when required. And 4 copies of Collected Company. You've seen me play this card many times before. You know how great I think it is. Getting 2, 3 or less mana value cards from the top 6 of your library, particularly when you can go and, hit a Tishana's Tidebinder or one of our lords at instant speed. Very, very good. And then our mana base, lots of green-blue dual lands, as you'd expect. We are running 3 copies of Cavern of Souls here rather than 4, just because we do have a couple of non-creature spells that we want to be reliably be able to cast, so including Deeproot Pilgrimage on 2 mana, so we can't quite afford to run all 4 copies of that. And then 3 copies of Mutavault, which turns itself into a Merfolk creature, so that's good. 1 Boseiju, 1 Otawara, and then an island as our basic land. Then we have some more tempo in our sideboard, so 1 copy of Fading Hope, just bouncing a particularly problematic creature, just clearing the way for us. Similarly with March of Swirling Mist, up to X target creatures phase out, so we can use that on our own creatures to protect them from removal, but also as a way of clearing the way for an attack, and for our creatures by phasing out the opponent's creatures, so that's pretty handy. Then our counterspell package, so we've got 2 Spell Pierce, an Eighth Gust, a Change the Equation, and a Disdainful Stroke. We've seen various combinations of these kind of counterspells in the decks that we've played, so we can bring those in as and when they're needed. Tail Swipe is a good fight spell. We can use that at instant speed, but if we cast it at sorcery speed, also gives our own creature a little bit of resilience, so we can use that to take out creatures that the opponents have got which are in our way. Another Silvergill Adept, so additional card draw for those grindier matchups. We've got 1 copy of Kupala, makes spells the opponent casts that target our Merfolk cost 2 more to cast, so that's particularly good that against decks which are running lots of spot removal and things like that. 1 Voldalian Mindsinger to let us steal creatures that the opponent's got, and then a couple of unlicensed Hearses. Those are our graveyard hate of choice in this deck. So yeah, it's a bit more Simic Merfolk, but a slightly different build to the last version, so I'm interested to see how these cards kind of interact. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. As ever, exciting times for the channel, so do hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's only a couple of days now until both Khans of Tarkir and a new Timeless format launch on Arena, so we'll see what impact that those changes have. And yeah, in the meantime, let's go onto the ladder and see how we go on with this. Okay, let's take the play. So the opponent's on Obosh, so it looks like some form of mono red deck. So this is the kind of hand you fear, where you don't actually have the land to cast Deeproot Pilgrimage, but I think even despite that, the hand's probably good enough. No, we'll get rid of Trickster as we can't cast it. So they're playing Delver. That's fun. Okay, so let's drop Mutavault into play. Let's attack with our Scout. Pass the turn. Okay, no flipping Delver for you quite yet. Okay, let's play Hexcatcher. Okay, very happy to see that. So let's play Pilgrimage. Send the 3/3 at our opponent. Now let's play Scout. See if they can flip Delver this time. But they can with a built to smash, okay. Okay, well, pretty important I don't let the Cacophony Scamp hit us here. Okay, I kind of see what they're doing. Just all in on pumping their creatures. Okay, pretty pleased to see another Hexcatcher, so let's drop Mistbinder into play. Attack for a lot. Flash in another Hexcatcher. So this gets them to... Oh well, it's entirely lethal, actually. Okay, so... what do we want against an opponent like this? I think Tail Swipe's pretty decent here. So he's changed the equation. Fading Hope as well. Don't mind Mindsinger, actually. You might be able to steal one of their creatures. What are we taking out? Tidebinder. I don't think we need Tidebinder in this matchup. And let's take out Biomancer as well. Yep, seems good enough to me. Yeah, this is fine. It's not the best hand, but it's fine. It's got a lot better with the addition of a collected company, so... So let's bounce their scamp just because we can. Give some scry value. Yes, that's fine. So the good thing about doing this... Now, this probably won't survive, but blanking that ability means that it doesn't get to kill the trickster. So that's a pretty neat little interaction. So let's play a Mutavault. I think I'm happy to just hold up Hexcatcher here, I think. That's fine. Mutavault number 2. Okay, now let's just wait with our Coco. Ooh, Obosh. Well, this is quite funny, isn't it? Let's play another one. I think we can have that as a land now. Let's turn this into a creature. They have no choice but to block our 2 6/6s. And that's not going to work. There are a lot of lords which fly around in this deck, and they're all terrifying. Very good, okay. Bit of easy meat for us in that first match. This is actually a reasonably slow hand, but probably good enough. This play Spire Bluff Canal Day and I didn't get the memo. Well, let's trade for their Bowmat Carrier now before they get any value off it. Let's play Mistbinder. Okay, the opponent had no lands there, so they're playing some sort of artifacts aggro deck, I think. Don't really know what to change here. Maybe Fading Hope is quite good. Change the equation, probably fine. Tail Swipe, okay. I don't know, I quite like potentially Tidebindering a Bowmat Courier trigger, but I feel like if we're holding up mana waiting for that, we're probably losing the game, so let's just take out Tidebinder here. Yep, this'll do. Again, not the quickest opening hand I've ever had, but... Heart of Kieran, eh? Ah. Oh, this is very different. Yeah, sort of Izzet artifacts. Well, that makes a change from the same old that you see on the ladder, I suppose. Sir Ginger. Well, that's not going to help them very much because I'm not running any... fair enough. So I could just blow it up with Beseiju. That is quite tempting. It does give them a land, though. I think that's fine. Let's blow up Heart of Kieran. Let's drop Sentinel of the Nameless City, I think, here. This used to be such a good card. Seems aggressive, but I think I'm probably fine to let them have one more trigger from their Sir Ginger just to get the cards out from under Vomat Courier. So let's play Mistbinder. Let's attack with our Sentinel. Now let's see if we can get them with a Hexcatcher. Okay, looks like we're not going to be able to. Ooh, that's a tricky one. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to play Hexcatcher and then counter this by sacking itself. Trade with Sir Ginger here. Okay, that's not the actual worst, so let's pass the turn. Okay, fair enough. They're going full for it at the moment, so let's tap that down. Let's play Hexcatcher. Sacrifice the Trickster to counter the Zoetic Glyph. So this is, yeah, okay, so it's old-fashioned Izzet Ensoul. Okay, that's a very welcome sight, so let's stick a map on here. Useful to know that that's there. Grab a Cocoa. Excellent. Two very quick wins there for our dear friends, the Merfolk. Okay, I'm on a roll. Ugh. Okay, that's Well, that's like one of my video titles. They've been taking inspiration, clearly, from... Let's pop back one of our Cavern of Souls. Okay, Rakdos it is. Now comes the real challenge. We've had our warm-up games. Now let's see how we can do in against an actual meta deck. Pioneer Rakdos is now running Smuggler's Copter, so they've got Looter Scooter. People are trying that out, so shame once again that is not on Arena, despite it already having been at one point. So they at least don't have Smuggler's Copter to play in this matchup. Intolerable performance. It's like having our very own Rakdos scam to play against. It's fine. Well, let's Tidebinder the ability just because we can. Let's offer them a trade here. Play old Kumena Speaker. Let's drop Hexcatcher into play. I imagine they will have a removal spell for Hexcatcher. Yep. Collected company, where are you in my life? If there was ever a time when it would be good for you to show up, it's now. Yeah, that's not bad. So let's play Merfolk Mistbinder. Activate Mutavault here. Now, the question is, do they have removal? I'm going to try it. Do you know what? You only live once. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, they did not have removal for our Mistbinder, so that's a reasonably profitable trade for us. That's less exciting, I have to be honest. Ah! And now I've lost my... my land to be able to cast it. What a tragic state of affairs. Let's play Kumena Speaker. Pass the turn again. So the opponent's got far too much land and we've got nowhere near enough. But they have a Castle Lochthwain, so... Yeah, well, there goes our collected company. Ah! The order of things happening is painful. So I think we're super dead here. In fact, I'm not going to stick around. Yeah, that was just horrific. Just, they tore apart our hand and then just everything came in the wrong order. Never mind. So let's pop in Fading Hope, Eighth Gust, change the equation, Copala. And I'm going to take out Mistbinder here because it's far too vulnerable to Fatal Push and their other removal. But apart from that, I think that's a reasonable configuration for playing Rakdos. March of Swirling Mist, too much spot removal for that. Tail Swipe, their creatures are probably too big. Spell Pierce, only really hitting Fable. Yeah, that'll do. Now we just hope for the best. Yeah. Let's pop a scout into play, see if we can draw another land. No. Just no. Okay. We'll use our Glass Pool Mimic for land instead. I'll trade their 1-drop for their 2-drop. That is how you accrue value in this game. Okay, let's attack. It's all fine. Yep, that's also fine. That I'm less thrilled to see, so let's Coco in response, because we might hit a counterspell. Yep, okay, so let's grab Kupala and Hexcatcher. Let's burn our Scout to kill their Reckoner Bankbuster. I see we're going full Mutavault in this matchup, so let's reveal a Merfolk. My god, you are an absolute villain, Auto-Tapper. Reveal a Merfolk. Play Hexcatcher. Explore here. Yep, we'll keep Trickster on top. We'll attack with our 4/4. Okay, well, let's bring in our old Merfolk Trickster friend. Tap down their Blood Tithe Harvester. Activate one of our Mutavaults. Send everything at the opponent. Yep. Okay. So, are we changing anything now we're on the draw? Don't think so. This feels like if If we're going to beat... is Pilgrimage too slow, actually? But what will we put in? Let's put in the other Silvergill Adept, just because drawing cards is always good. Yeah, and a Spell Piercer. Let's drop 2 Pilgrimages. Just because... yeah, the risk of it just being dead on the battlefield and not doing anything is reasonably high in this matchup. So I think that'll be fine. Yeah. It's very tiring on the old voice doing this for an hour every day, so keep myself hydrated. Yeah, that's reasonable. Well, I'm not going to play into your removal spells if I don't have to, so... yeah, see, that's annoying, just because... but let's... play Trickster. Let's decline to pay the ward. Let's pop Kumena's Speaker into play. Follow it up with a Hexcatcher. Offer a trade. No blocks. So, let's have another Hexcatcher. Keep the opponent on their toes a little, I think. Yep, fine. It's all fine. No blocks. Okay, well at least we now have a target for our Trickster. Tap that. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so let's play Kumena's Speaker into Tyrant of Araska. Let's hit them for 2 here. Pass the turn. Ooh, this is going to be a close one. That's fine. So, how are we doing this? Let's... block here, block here, block here. Activate Kumena to draw a card. Okay, that's not the worst exchange for us. That's pretty good, so let's play Biomancer. Pass the turn. This way Trespasser doesn't flip. Okay, well, looks like I'm trying to play Hexcatcher here. There were no sticks there, so I think double blocking is the right thing to do. Yep. Okay, let's copy our Hexcatcher. Pass the turn. I'm going to sack itself, just so it... And I will trade with Biomancer. Okay. The temptation to just blank this is incredibly high. I think I'm going to. Yep, I would have done it to the Fable, but I prefer this way, actually, I think. So let's play Scout. Okay. The game is definitely swinging, but it's not swinging reasonably in our direction at this point, so... Attack. Play Kumena. Shake my hand. Good game, okay. You can have one go at finding something. Shake my hand. Yes! Whew. Okay, that was very fun. That was very grindy, but we got there against Rakdos. There you are. That is the power of Merfolk. I think an underrated deck. I don't see it. I don't play against it that often, but whenever I play a Merfolk deck, it does feel good. So yeah, take one last look at the deck list. So yeah, some good cards there. Pilgrimage, very valuable. Probably doesn't even need the Kumena in the deck to be valuable, just generating that kind of incremental value. Hexcatcher is an absolute bomb of a card, so is Tidebinder. Yeah, this is a really good deck. Yeah, worth keeping an eye on these Merfolk. Just maybe one or two more powerful cards, and it could really be top tier. So yeah, that is this video. So thanks very much for watching. As ever, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you next time.